Today, we are talking Disney Pixar's movie Soul. This is something that I normally would not do, but being the life coach that I am, I have to discuss this movie and how it is so relevant to not only the children a lot of us are bringing up, but to us as adults and adults who are searching for their life purpose. Hi, I'm Keisha from KeishaGolder.com, and like I said, we are talking the movie Soul today, and I'm going to touch upon the good points in the movie about finding purpose, learning your spark, and all of the things that allow us to be human, to be mindful of who we are, to find ourselves, and eventually find our purpose. This movie has so many great messages in it, from spirituality to finding your life purpose to finding your spark, meditation. There are so many good messages, but I just really want to focus on the finding your spark and the life purpose part of the movie. Being the life purpose coach that I am, I find that a lot of times individuals confuse life purpose with their spark. Just like it was confused in the movie, Mr. Gardner felt that once he helped 22 find their spark, that they would find their purpose. And those two things, while a lot of times they can go together, they do not necessarily have to go together. Your spark is what you just set yourself on fire from the inside out. You can't get enough of it, and you want to continuously experience it because you enjoy it. Now, yes, you can get your spark from your life purpose, but when you decide to live in a way that you are solely focused on your purpose and you are not experiencing life, that is when you can lose your spark and things become diminished. And as you saw in the movie, if you've seen it, Mr. Gardner stopped living life because he was so focused on becoming the full-time jazz musician. He stopped enjoying the little things like eating a slice of pizza. He took that for granted. He stopped enjoying, just being out in the breeze and the little twirly things that come off the trees in autumn. He stopped enjoying just being able to walk down the street. He had tunnel vision. He had his blinders on, and all he could think about was getting to his goal, his purpose of being a jazz musician. But think about it. A lot of the times, especially in the type of music, jazz, those musicians, when you listen to those songs, those musicians use their feelings to create those songs. So when you listen to them as a consumer, it evokes feelings. It evokes memories that correlate to those feelings. So if you're not living and experiencing life, how can you create those feelings or evoke those feelings from someone else? That's the same for us. It's not just something that was for that movie. That is exactly the same thing that we go through daily. Sometimes we can get too focused that we forget to live, that we forget to experience. And we just look at everything like a transaction. What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next is you live. You experience, you feel. How else can you know when something's right if you're not feeling it, if you're not experiencing it? So for me, it is really important that people understand that you have to experience life. You have to experience those sparks in order for you to find your purpose. But those sparks are not the things that are necessarily going to be your purpose. The second thing that came across as really important to me in the movie was that sometimes we have to take a second and look at life through someone else's eyes. So, as you know, Mr. Gardner's spirit went up into the realm of whatever it was, and he came in contact with a unborn soul, 22. And then they somehow, came back to Earth, and 22's soul entered into Mr. Gardner, and Mr. Gardner entered into a cat. So the whole purpose was trying to get the souls back to where they were supposed to be. But in the meantime, 22 was in Mr. Gardner's body, and all of the things that Mr. Gardner experienced in life that he just took for granted, 22 was experiencing for the very first time. And so these things were fresh to him. They were new to him, and it gave him, a liveliness that he never expected, a liveliness that he never thought he would have, a liveliness that he never wanted, because he was a soul that never wanted to be born, because he felt that Earth was just going to crush him. Let that sink in for a minute. Because once we're here as, children and adults, sometimes that is the way that we begin to think, that things are just meant to crush us. When that's not true, we've just become so jaded and so used to them that we stop looking for the good in things. We stop being grateful for things. We stop trying to experience new things. Because it wasn't until they had got back and Mr. Gardner, 22 was back in the realm, and Mr. Gardner was in his body, that all of 22's experiences came rushing back to Mr. Gardner. And he started to understand how he was living his life and how he was not living, because the simplest things made 22 happy, but Mr. Gardner was not happy with those before this experience. And he started to appreciate them after this experience. So let's stop for a minute, a day, whatever you can, and just try to take the time to look through someone else's eyes at your problems. Because just because that's a problem to you, or it's a problem at that moment, does not mean it's going to always be a problem. And you may gain a solution by looking at it from a different perspective. Perspectives are always just that. Different ways of looking at things, different ways of seeing things. And we all have them. And sometimes our perspective can become a little cloudy because of our experiences, good and bad. If you take nothing else from the movie, take that you need to experience each day as if it's a new day and a new experience. Because yesterday is in the past, and you can't go back and change it, and you can't go back and redo it. So each day is a day for you to look at things from a fresh perspective. That within itself will keep you fresh, keep you up on your toes, and keep you with a fully filled spark. My last point about the movie and how it relates to life purpose and, finding your spark is, don't be afraid to try things. In the movie, in trying to get 22 to find his spark, they tried so many things, and none of those things helped him gain his spark. But they also was forcing things. So when you try things, don't try them to make them fit. Don't try them so that you're trying to make it give you your spark. Try it to experience it. Be fully in the moment when you're trying these things so that you know if it's a fit, so that you know if it makes your heart go a little flutter. You know if it strikes that match for you. Try things. And also, don't be afraid to help someone, because helping someone else may help you find your spark as well as your purpose. We're one big community. And it's no reason that one person should have to go about things alone without any assistance or any help, especially when all of us at one point or another have either gone through whatever it is that they're going through or will go through. And that helps to create a support system. A lot of the times you've heard me talk about having strong support systems. Well, this is something that can help you in finding your life purpose. When you have that support system, when you have those people who are saying, you know, I see that you tried it this way, but how about we try it this way? Or might I suggest this instead of that? I'm not saying that you have to every day of your life go out of your way for someone else. While that is nice, ideally it is not realistic. But just take the time to make sure that in everything you do, you're pure at heart and you are doing the best that you can. And you are really experiencing whatever it is. Because a part of knowing who you are, which is a part of your life purpose, is to experience life within itself. So in the comment section below, I want you to tell me about a time that you had tunnel vision and stopped living life. What brought you out of that tunnel vision? Of course, you know I'm going to read each and every comment, and I'll see you guys next video.